Hello, thanks for being here. I had a box, but I went to go pick it up, and I knew it had, computer things in it, some computer things, but of course the bottom fell out, so I thought, well, I suppose this is a sign that I should have a look at this. Now, not everything in here is Commodore related. For example, here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cubes to give us more places to plug in. I'm not particularly fond of these, although they come in handy. Usually, if used with a power bar, I don't know if they do any more good than not. I suppose right on a wall they can be helpful. Anyway, I remember, of course, when I got these, why? Well, they were on sale. And have I used them much? Well, no, not really. But, maybe I will. But anyway, other things that fell into this box. This is it looks at first thought like maybe it's a cable to extend the joystick port because of the way the thing on the end looks, both of them. But I believe it's more for an IBM machine to extend the video output. It has, well, a lot of pins. Oh, hello, Penny. Penny. Penny, come here, Penny. Come on, Penny. Penny. Are you getting up? Penny getting up? Come on, Penny. Penny, 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 Penny. Yump, 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 yump. Here, let me move this for you. There's a clear spot. Come on, Penny. 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 No, that's not really the good place to jump. Okay, well that's not bad. But hang on, Penny. Let's come on over here. Yes. So, this is Penny, of course. Yes, hello, Penny. Oh, poor little Penny. No, don't, Penny. Please don't roll off the table, please. Hello. Yes. This is Penny. She is generally a scaredy cat, but she does appear once in a while with great vigor, looking to be adored. And, hi, yes, I see you. I do see you. Yes, I do. Yes, I see you. Yes, I do. She's funny because oftentimes she just goes and hides. But when she decides it's time, it's time. Right, Penny? Hmm? So, Penny, we're looking over some cables. So, oh dear. This sweater just loves every hair or every speck of anything that comes this way. Right, Penny? Right, Penny? Right, Penny? Where are you going? Are you going down? No, you're not going. No, not that easy. No. Okay. So, Penny, I'm looking at cables here. I know you're not very fascinated by that. So, in my decluttering, dehoarding sort of state that I'm in, hello, Penny. This, I'm going to start a box. I've got some banker's boxes to start. I will start a new box, and this will be for an IBM type cable thing box. I think I have another one here. And this, hello, Penny. Can you see the cable? Oh, it's also mixed up. This is a printer cable that would, in fact, I think, go. Hi, Penny. Yes, Penny, I'm trying to get at this printer. I believe this was called a Centronics printer. Centronics interface sort of thing. Because on this printer, which is a Star 1000, oh, maybe it doesn't have. Oh, no. I'm sorry, this is a Star NX1000C, which is made specifically. Where are you going, Penny? Where are you going? With the Commodore interface. So this will not work. But this also would go in the IBM box, I believe. Now, one thing you got to be really careful of. Anybody who has an Amiga 1000. From what I remember, way back when I worked at Electronics 2001, which was a great store, part of ComSpec and all that. If you had an Amiga 1000 and you took a cable such as this that was made for an IBM and you put it on the printer port and you put it on the printer, the pinout was different such that you would destroy the printer. So, if you have an Amiga 1000, make sure you have a printer cable that actually is for Amiga 1000. Don't just say, oh look, that looks right. Like, don't go into your local Value Village and pay $49.99 and say, hey look, an Amiga printer cable. It is probably not, because they were rare. And I think they got that sorted out on later machines, but still, always make sure you know what you've got. Here, of course, here's an 8-pin DIN video cable. This would go with a Commodore 64 that, oh, dear me, would be not one of the early ones that only had a 5-pin DIN. It would probably also work on the Amiga 128 and probably a lot of the other later machines that I don't have. But this would definitely work with a Commodore 64 or a Commodore 128 in 64 mode or 40 column mode with like a 1702. So this is going to go in a box that is definitely destined to be Commodore cables. And this, yes. Somewhere I have an old television. This, of course, is not an RF modulator. It's just a switch. The RF modulator was inside the machine. But if you were going to use a regular television set with a VIC-20 or a Commodore 64, and generally, yeah, I guess both, this was an option. You needed to connect this to the antenna. This is in the old days. I'll try to find it. I know I have a TV around. I can do this one. I know it. And you have to switch. So that definitely is, I believe it's a Commodore one. It doesn't say specifically Commodore, but I believe it is. Some things did actually have, other things had more things in here than just a switch. And the VIC-20 came with something that plugged in a video port that had the RF modulator outside the computer, whereas the 64 had it inside. So this would be necessary if you're going to use a regular television. This too will go in a box marked Commodore cables. What is this? Oh, this is probably, as I look inside, yes, 6 pins. This is for a 1541 or a 1571 or a 1581 or, you know, any of those serial, or a printer or a plotter. Anyway, anything on the Commodore 64, Commodore 128, VIC-20 side of things where you need to connect something. I have not tested this, of course, but I will at some point. So that too will go into a box of Commodore cables. Oh, and here's another one. So, Commodore cables. And this one looks like it's a little stiff, but it too, same cable, serial cable. Beautiful thing when using the slow. What is this? Is this part of the power? I do see a power supply here, and I believe that's what we have here. It is. Now, tape here. That probably means that the connector or the plastic or rubber or whatever it is has somewhat come apart. I'm always leery of power supplies from way back when, especially the early ones, because yes. And some people, well, this doesn't look like a really early one. It's funny, this one only has 4 pins in it, and it is possible, if you're really not paying attention, there's a little slot on the top to make sure you get it in the right way, but it can fit in wrong if you are not paying attention. So you've got to do it not by feel, but what's really going on. I'm going to yank this tape off. Somewhere, in a box, somewhere, I do have a tester for these things. It has 2 little lights, which reports very well the voltage. Not in terms of how much it is, but if the lights are just, you know, at a nice, typical thing, that means it's okay. If they're bright, or one of them is bright, or nothing is happening, it's not good. So, I took the tape off, and actually, I don't see anything terrible here. So, I'm also going to put that in the box of Commodore things. What is this? Well, this is like a cable for, well, TV device things. And you know what, I could start a whole box of that, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to throw it with the miscellaneous IBM things. This just looks like a line cord. Looks kind of dirty. It could go with all kinds of things, not just Commodore things. It's funny, sometimes I see things advertised, and it says, you know, here's a 1541, but there's no power supply, there's no power cord, there's no whatever. And that too will go into the Commodore box, but of course the big drives that were all in one, the power supply was built in, and all it took was a cord like that. That's all it took. So, what is this? This, I think, is something automotive related. I think. But I'm not just sure. But I will, as I'm almost finished here, just a second, I will put that in the strange miscellaneous cable box, which of course is, you know, strange miscellaneous cables. Not just IBM things. This, of course, is a joystick that I have not tested, but it has the correct end for Commodore and other things. It's made by Wico. Patent pending. The little feet are missing. That will too go into a Commodore box. And here, this is another Wico. I like these. They had a variety of things. This does not have. It feels okay. It also, of course, goes for the Commodore. I guess it would also work on an Amiga. And it has a switch on it where you can decide if you want to shoot from the base or from the stick. Not both at the same time. And, oh, look at that. It's a manual for this printer. Huh. Oh, and by the way, I think I have this plugged in. It does make the right noises. I will have to find some tractor paper to see what's what. Also, we have the Commodore 64 system guide. So that is not a cable, exactly, but I will put it in the box. And lastly, except for this iPhone charger that should not be here at all, we have something called Commodore 64 Graphics and Sounds. Contains diskette and cassette. Well, Does it? It does. Well, it's not interesting. Okay. So look, it has a disc. And it has a cassette and it has a book. I'm not sure. I've never looked at this. I'm sure I've seen it sometime over the years. But, you know, you'd find a strange box, so that needs to be explored. So definitely into the Commodore box. These I will use somewhere. And then there's these, I guess they look like things that came off of something that have some sort of load instructions from something. These will probably end up being recycled. Oh, wait. I forgot. We have a box of discs. Maybe some of those instructions are here. Winter games, summer games. These appear to be extra backup copies in case the original disc goes bad. These two, they're not going to go into the cables. I think I will start a separate box for manuals, books, discs, because I know I'm going to have a bunch. This does not fit. Oh well. Anyway, so that is the contents of a random box. I will continue to go through things. And yes, little by little, I'm going to lighten the load and put some things up for sale. So, stay tuned for that. And I guess all that I really have to do, well, I have to test things, including the power supply here, and that can almost be scary. And I will see about this printer, if it is actually functioning, it has a ribbon in it, and if it is working. Until then, stay tuned. Thanks for coming. Bye for now.
Bye!
Hello, Andrew.